Should I be the first one? No.
Do it.
Can you stop? Who's up? Who has any credit questions right now? Who can't sleep and has some credit questions? Request to get on the live and I'll answer them right now. Do you guys have collections on your reports? Charge-offs on your reports? If you have collection accounts and if you have collection accounts on your report and they're reflecting, it's a collection agency on there. One of the ways to get them removed is by basically sending a letter to the collection agency and asking them to send you a contract in which you signed and the collection agency signed, and you both agreed that you were going to pay them the debt. They're not going to be able to produce that. So at that point, they're required to, by law, remove that collection from your account. And now any deleted item from your report, you're able to invoice both the bureaus and the collection agency anywhere from $250 to $1,000. So I tell my clients to hit them hard and send them an invoice with the list of laws that I give them. And each one of the laws that's broken, you can basically collect anywhere from $250 to $1,000 per violation. Y'all have any questions about credit? Is it late or is it early? I can't sleep. I'm working. If you have, I have charge-offs and 3 student loans late. So let's talk about lates. If you have lates on the accounts, like the student loans, depending on how old the student loans are, they're adding history to your report, meaning they're adding age, right? So if that's benefiting you, I would just try to get the payments removed or get the payments updated to current. If it's not, to me, it's easier. I don't even deal with late. So I'm gonna tell you guys something. I don't even deal with trying to update the late payments to current. It's a waste of my time and it's a waste of my client's time. I go ahead and I remove the entire account from the credit report. I don't care if the account is 10 years old or 1 day old. I remove that account from the report. That I can remove that account faster than update the payments to current. And when I remove the account, and let's say that I remove some age, that account was like 20 years old, I'll go ahead and get all the negative accounts removed from the credit report. And then I'll substitute that age with an authorized user. So I'll get them a trade line. And that's how I'm able to get my people like a fundable score, like super fast. So I don't worry about the late payments. And then if you guys have low limits on your credit cards, that's and let's say that you guys have a fundable score. A fundable score is a 720 credit score. So let's say that you have at least a 720, but you have low limits on your cards. You start applying to lenders. Everybody's awake at my house right now. Like nobody sleeps. That could actually, whenever you get approved for these cards, they can actually lower your rate. Like you might have like a great credit score, but then they see that you have these cards with low limits. So they're going to be like, he or she has a good score, but I don't know why they're giving them or why they have such a low limit. So we're just going to go ahead and not even give them a high limit. We're going to start them off with $10,000. And I mean, you think about it, you really can't do anything with $10,000. Like we try to get you guys $25,000 cards, $15,000 cards at the very minimum. The bureaus are not Fudge Leona TransUnion is hard to fix. Let me tell you guys something about the bureaus. They're not federally or they're not government regulated. The government is not basically making sure that they're following the laws. So then it's up to us to use the FCRA to hold them accountable for whatever is on our report. You guys have to keep in mind that that credit report is ours. It's a reflection of us. So essentially we own that report, and the FCRA, we're able to use the FCRA to manipulate the credit report to basically show whatever accounts we want on there. I went as far as when I moved here last year, I went as far as removing an active mortgage from my credit report because I wanted to, one, I wanted to decrease my debt to income ratio. And then two, I wanted to see how far I could get through underwriting before they found the active mortgage. Granted, they found it, but yeah, I was able to do that. You're able to add or remove any accounts that you want. You just have to be persistent, and you don't have to pay us like credit repair specialists to do it. You just have to be persistent and not let the bureaus basically punk you guys. I hadn't called the bureaus in a long time. Like I usually have my people, my team call them, but I'm helping one of my clients out and I called them and they get my blood pressure at the roof. But it's a matter of just holding them accountable and using the FCRA to get them to do what we're asking them to do. If you're trying to apply for credit cards or high limit cards or even lines of credits, there's some banks that are going to automatically deny you if you have more than 2 inquiries on your report. So what you need to do is if you have inquiries that are attached to credit cards, I don't encourage my clients to get those inquiries removed because you run the risk of getting the card shut down. I remove them from my account. I have at least like 10, 15 cards and I remove them all. But I know what to do. So if they shut my cards down, I basically call the lender. Excuse me. I call the lender and I ask them like, hey, I tried to run my card and this does happen. I tried to run my card and my card got declined. Can you tell me what happened? And then they'll tell me that they received a dispute or a letter or basically saying something that inquiry or that account didn't belong to me, that it didn't belong to me. So then they shut the card down. So then when they say that, I basically say, well, I don't know who sent it to you. I don't know what the bureaus are. What are the letters? Like, what are you talking about? So I play stupid. And eventually the fraud department ends up opening the account back on. But you really do have to sound stupid when you call. Like, you don't even know what the bureaus are, what the dispute letters are, nothing like that. So you can remove, if you're new to credit and you're trying to get all these inquiries removed, you can remove anything just so you don't have to like run the risk of getting the card shut down. You can remove anything that's not attached to an open credit card. So if it's a car note, you get the inquiry removed, they're not going to shut your car note or the car loan down. They're going to just remove the inquiry. They're not going to shut the loan down. So long as you're making the payments on time, they're going to go ahead and keep the account open and current. As Fudgelona, do you have fraud alert in place? Yes, I do, ma'am. I do have fraud alert. What that does is when you have a fraud alert on your reports, every time you try to apply for credit, they'll call you and basically ask you if you applied at such and such lender. So I do keep it. One way to get your accounts removed, and I'm dropping so much stuff here, guys, so you guys better start executing tomorrow, or since you guys can't sleep, start doing the damn letters tonight. To get some of the accounts removed faster, what you can do is go through your report and then initially freeze the secondary bureaus, right? That way, whenever you submit these letters to the bureaus, The bureaus are not just turning their head to the right or to the left and verifying these accounts with the secondary bureaus. And by that, I mean like the CoreLogics, the LexisNexis. There's a list of secondary bureaus. I'll go ahead and post them here sometime. Not today, though. So you're going to freeze those bureaus. And then what you're going to do is you're going to send one letter out first and dispute any old names, any old addresses, dispute anything old that's not current, right? And once you dispute that, you're basically going to ask the bureaus to remove those inaccurate addresses or names from your account. So now when you're sending these letters out, they're only verifying the accounts with whatever the current address is. They can't verify any old debt with the old addresses that you have on your report. So what some of these bureaus do is they don't even go to the lenders to verify if the accounts are accurate. What they do is they'll match up your address to any address that you have on there. So they'll match it up to any of the accounts that you have on there, and then they'll say that the account is active. Or the account is current. So they even do their due diligence to verify if the account is accurate or not. They'll just see that the old address matches the account that you're disputing, and they call it accurate. That's BS. So that's why you remove the account, and then you remove the address, and now they really have to go back and reach out to the lenders to verify the account. You do that, and it's easier to remove some of the accounts. You might get a hard time trying to remove the addresses, but just be persistent. Don't give up. A 720 credit score opens so many doors to you guys. And if you guys are following me and Andy, you guys know that I'm able to get these people, his people, at least like $100,000 in funding, but I do get them to a fundable credit score. So they, at the very minimum, have a 720 and max two inquiries per report. When you start applying for these cards or loans, let's say that you have an 800 on one report, and then the other two reports you're still like disputing some items on there. You have collections, charge-offs on there, but you need money ASAP. What you can do is freeze the two other reports that are you're still disputing negative items from, and then find the lenders that pull from that one report that has a good score, and then just apply it to the lender that pulls from that bureau. Does that make sense, guys? So that way you're still able to jump into whatever you're trying to jump into. You're still able to leverage credit to help you jump into whatever it is that you're trying to jump into. There's so many ways to get money or use other people's money to help you jump into whatever you're trying to jump into. Fudgelona, what letter do we send to remove the addresses? You just tell them. You can just say it's easier to send a written letter. And say, send it to each one of the bureaus. Obviously, you're going to send 3 letters, one to each one of the bureaus, and you're going to tell them that the letter is not, or the address that reflects on that bureau is not accurate. You've never lived at that address, and you're asking them to remove it immediately. And there are laws. I'm going to post that too. I'm so bad at social media sometimes, but I'll post some of the laws. And I think I did a reel a few days ago. Where I forget which one of the laws it was. You basically have to give permission to the lenders to report accounts to the bureaus. So if you don't give permission, and that's written permission, basically allowing them to report these accounts to the bureaus, then these accounts shouldn't be reported on your credit report. So if you use that law and you stay persistent, they'll remove the accounts. I think I posted it a few days. So if you go through my reels, you'll see one of the laws on there. I'll get better at posting this stuff too. I I stopped using the driver's license as ID. Right. So the ID, but Jelena, do you do credit repair? Or you just learned this because you've been doing it on yourself? But so if you have a passport, I highly encourage you to use a passport when you're disputing these accounts, because they're not able to link that address to anything, right? They're going to ask you to upload a utility bill. You can upload a utility bill, wink wink, right? Like just put an address on there. And then just have them remove any addresses that are linked to any of your accounts. So just add a new address on there that you've never had an open account with. And now they have when you send these disputes out, they're trying to verify the addresses to whatever address you're basically telling them you live at. And now you're submitting another address that you've never had an open account with, so they can essentially remove these accounts within like the first round of letters that you send them. Okay, Fajilana, I thought so. You're speaking my lingo. Yeah, I had one of my clients, and these are a lot of my people. One of my clients had, I think she said like 20 cars on Turo, and she let them all go. So you just think about that. She has like at the very minimum, each one of the cars is like $50,000, right? So y'all do the math. A lot of my people that I'm getting are people that were in the Turo industry, and they just didn't like it. They didn't like that niche. So they're jumping into something different. And what they did is they let the cars go. They turned the cars in, but supposedly they still owe the difference. So that's what I'm working on now. Okay, so I'm thinking about that. Let's say that you guys have a debt, right? It can be anything. Let's say that you guys got a car, right? And you decided that you don't like the car for whatever reason. So you turn the car back in, and they say that they're going to give you $30,000, but the initial debt was $50. That difference, the $20,000, they're going to go after you guys. So you have to, or they're going to try to collect that money, right? So now you owe $20,000. If you don't want to go through the process of trying to dispute the debt or the difference off your credit report, what you guys can do is call the lender. And it's not just pertaining to cars, it can be for anything. Call the lender and then let them know that you want to 1099 the debt, right? So is anybody familiar with a 1099 form? It's a 1099 alpha, I believe. So with a 1099A form, I believe it's a 1099A. You basically tell them like, hey, you call them and you let them know whatever it is that you're going through, and I want to 1099 the debt. So now once they 1099 the debt, they have until, I think it's February of the following year to send you that form. So once you get the form, that at that point, what they basically did is they turned that debt into income, right? So as we all know, or if you don't know, you're about to know, income is not supposed to be reported on the credit report, right? So if that debt was turned into income, all you guys got to do is take the 1099 form, write a letter to the bureau, and I would just attach like a copy of the account or the portion of the credit report, just to make it easier for you guys, or just identify. Like the way I do it is I identify the account by putting the name of the account holder, I'm sorry, the lender, the account number, and the date that it was open. So then I would identify that account and basically tell them like, hey, and attach the 1099 form, right? So tell the bureaus, and then at this point, y'all can charge the bureaus anywhere from $250 to $1,000 at the same time. Am I getting my forms wrong? 1099. I'm gonna go back and check to see if I have my forms wrong, or the form number wrong. But basically what you do is you attach that form, and check my comments tomorrow, or the comments on this live. I'm going to go ahead and get the accurate form number. I probably have it wrong. So what you do is you attach that form and with the letter, and then you say, this debt is income, and you guys are reporting income on my credit report. It needs to come off immediately, and then attach an invoice, and then on there you basically say that they're reporting inaccurate information, and send them an invoice from anywhere from $250 to $1,000, and now you taxing the bureaus. You're getting money from the bureaus. You basically turn the table around. And that can be for any debt. It's not you can invoice the bureaus for any account that was deleted. Bankruptcies, guys. If you or anybody, or if you know anybody that has a bankruptcy, those accounts should not be on your credit report. What the accounts that should be on the report are only accounts that are sent to the bureau. So what these lenders do, the financial institutions do, is they send, they pay the bureaus on a monthly basis, because I can do it too. They pay the bureaus on a monthly basis to report information on consumers. So how that works is that they're paying them on a monthly basis. So now they send this information to the bureaus, and that information that's being sent to them is the only information that the bureaus should be reporting. However, what the bureaus are doing with the bankruptcies is that there's a database in which all the bankruptcies are held. And what they're doing is they're going, all the bankruptcy information is being held in, right? So they're going into that database, and they're getting the bankruptcy information on consumers, and they're reporting it to the bureaus. So you can get the bankruptcies removed from your report the day that they're added to your credit report, and you don't have to wait the 7-10 years that they tell you. It's $30 per account. I thought, no, it's $250. You can tax the bureaus anywhere from $250. The bureaus and the collection agencies anywhere from $250 to $1,000. So go hard if you guys are already going through all this stuff, and in reality they did mess you up financially because they're reporting inaccurate information on your report, hence dropping your score, hence preventing you from getting credit. So go hard and get the $1,000. I lost my train of thought. So get the bankruptcies removed from the report. It doesn't matter how old they are. Only information that's being sent to them is, to the bureaus, is what should be reported, not information that they go fishing for, which is what they did whenever they added the bankruptcies. Let's see. You guys have any other questions or anything that's lingering on your reports? Charge-offs. All right. Let's say I'm gonna use you, Fujilona, because Fujilona, you're active on here. So let's say that Fujilona lent me $1,000, right? And after 6 months, Fujilona notices or realizes that I'm not gonna pay her back that money, right? So because she's in the business of she's a financial institution, right? So she's in the business of losing money and making money, right? And what she does after 6 months or a certain amount of time is she's gonna turn around and she's gonna tell the IRS, like, hey, Gigi didn't pay me the $1,000 that she said she was going to pay me. So at that point, when she turns around and she tells when she tells the IRS that I'm not going to pay her for that money, what the IRS does is they go ahead and they give Fujilona a credit on that debt. Once they do that, once the IRS gives a credit on a debt, that debt is considered paid in full. But now what Fujilona or any financial institution do is they go ahead and they turn around and they sell that debt to collection agencies, right? So at the point when they sell that debt over to collection agencies, they've committed tax fraud. So now let me just touch on this real quick. If anybody sends you guys to court, because you guys have they're trying to collect old debt. I need to get the form right. The form name. I think it is a 1099. If they try to send you guys to court, right? They summon you guys to court. It's a 1099-A form. So if you get sent to court because they're trying to collect debt on you, before you start dropping any money, because usually they do it when you're like 10, 15, 20, $30,000, right? And they're trying to collect that debt. So before you even agree to any of the debt, y'all need to stand your grounds, go to court. And if you still have time between the court and the day that you get served with the court order, send a letter to the lender, or at this point they're going to have an attorney, right? Send a letter to the attorney and ask them to send you a copy of a 1099-A form, the ledger of the account, and any contract that was signed, that you signed, and that whoever's taking you to court, who at this point is going to be the attorney signed, and basically binding you both to the debt. They're not going to be, at that point, they already going to know, like the attorney's already going to have some type of feeling like, oh dang, like what am I getting involved with, right? Because a lot of us, the consumers, we're not aware. And if we get sent to court, like we start like getting scared. We start getting scared and we don't fight. So at that point, once you get the ledger, if you get the ledger, then go through the account and then see what all is on the ledger. Basically, what that ledger shows you is any activity that was done on your account from the date that you signed the contract. So from the date that they gave you the money, they gave you the car, or whatever the case is. Go through that ledger and see if at any point the IRS gave them a credit on that account. If they did, at that point, just wait to go to court. And in front of the judge, you tell them that such and such committed tax fraud. You want compensation for the time lost away from work, for, I don't know, come up with some mental issues because they frustrated you, and just come up with stuff and try to find a monetary restitution for having to appear to court. See how quickly they drop that case. How do I get a no document loan approval from banks? So when you do that, it's basically based on your income and your credit score. So you have to use that. Your credit score has to be high. I don't know what your credit score looks like. So you have to have at least a 720 on there. So if our lenders need permission from us to report our information, can we call them and request they not share our information or opt out of it? They're still going to report it. They're still going to report that to the bureaus, and all you're going to do is just waste your time with the lenders. You can do it, but to me, it's a waste of time. Like, the lenders are not the ones that are populating your credit score. It's the bureaus that are populating your credit score. So I would just get the account removed from the bureaus and not waste your time. Not waste your time trying to deal with the lenders. Like, does this work for student loans? I don't know which part. Are you talking about the 1099-A? You can get the 1099-A. You can get the student loans removed from your credit report. Is it because you have late payments on there that you're asking about it, or what's the issue with the student loans? It's Angela. So if you guys have student loans with Navient, they went through a lawsuit a few years ago, right? So in that lawsuit, they gave a lot of money back to the people that got student loans from them. What I would do is I would start, actually what I'm going to encourage you guys to do is call your state attorney general and then let them know that you have loans that stemmed from Navient. They probably sold those loans a couple times, but if you know that you signed the initial loans with Navient, just call your state attorney general. Let them know that you have some student loans that were initiated by Navient, and you want to be part of the lawsuit that happened a few years ago. I don't remember what year it was in, but if you Google it, you'll be able to see it. And then what they're going to do is they're going to give you guys other numbers to contact. I've had people, like some of my people contact, they were basically given the runaround. Like at some point, you guys got to stop. Like, all right, you have already transferred me 2 to 3 times. I need you to transfer me to your supervisor. And if you're going to transfer me to another person, I need that supervisor to stay on the line with me until I can get a hold of somebody that's going to answer my questions. Or call the attorney general back and then let him know that you've been transferred a few times and you need some answers because the student loans are affecting you or impacting you in a negative way. Okay, so the debt was sold. Angela, can you elaborate on your question? And then they used to be Great Lakes, I thought. I don't know the history about Navient. All I know is that if you have those accounts on there, or if you have those student loans on there, you can essentially, even if it's $1,000, it's $1,000 you don't have to worry about. So contact your state attorney general, start there, and then get information on how to be part of that lawsuit or try to get some of that money removed or credited to your account. Okay, Angela, I'm glad I just answered it. Do you guys have any other questions? So I talked about the low limit cards. Don't get, if you get secured cards, those are considered low limits, right? Some of them do transfer over to, or they get promoted to an unsecured card. But if they do, they tend to give you a low limit. Like Navy Federal does that. You can start, you can open an account, you can open a credit card with them and have it be secured. And then after 6 months or so of actively using it, after 6 months or so, after actively using it, they promote your card to an unsecured card. But they start you off with a low limit. So now at this point, you should have a high credit score. So when you're applying to lenders and you're trying to get these $25,000 cards, they're actually hurting you more than benefiting you. So don't get secured credit cards. If you can, just suck it up until you get your high credit score, and then start applying to these high limit cards. Let's see. Do I have any more questions? Otherwise, I need to get back to work. Let's see. What can I tell you guys? I think the big thing was is the charge-offs. Like, we have a lot of charge-offs out there. So if you have a charge-off account on there, get the ledger from the lender, and then contact the initial lender, and then ask them to send you a 1099 form. You don't even have to know, just sound like confident and say, hey, can you send me the 1099 form, associate it, and then identify that account, use that account number, the name of that account, and then the date that account was opened, and see what they tell you. And then if they give you the 1099A form, then at that point, we just talked about it, that debt was turned into income. And the reason they give it to you guys, they have to give you guys a copy of that form, is because it turned into income. So you guys are required, if it's more than $600, you guys are required to file it with your taxes. Fujilona, congratulations, my dear. We all do it. Like I said, any accounts, like you can remove any accounts from the bureaus. Like the mortgage that I had, the active mortgage that I had at that point was like $220,000. I removed it and it was active. So you guys can manipulate your credit report to reflect whatever needs to be on there. I got to the point to where one of the bureaus did, after like sending them so many dispute letters, they ended up just wiping my account empty, like there was nothing on there. So I sent them a copy of the statements, the last statements, and I told them like, hey, these accounts are active, like how come you guys aren't reporting it? So they just added it back on. I went from a 549 to an 800 in less than, I did it in 6 months. So this was years ago. If I would have known the information that I know now back then, I would have been able to like hook myself up within like 2 months tops. Can you talk about high limit card with minimum inquiries? G Turner J, are you trying to figure out like which lenders have the high limit cards, or what's your question? All right, guys. So since you mentioned that, let's say that you have a high balance in your cards, right? So meaning you have high utilization. And if you know, or if you follow me, if you're paying attention to the stuff that I say, you have to have the utilization under 10%, right? So let's say it's at 90, 80%. What you do, or what I would do, because once the utilization is in the, like it's high, that tanks your score. Like it drops your score over 100 points. So depending on what or which credit card it is, and if it's just one card, and that's keeping you from getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, what I would do is I would remove that high balance card. I would remove that high balance card from my credit report, and then once I remove that high balance card, my score is going to go back up to where it was before the high utilization. So that's a way to go around basically getting the high utilization card removed and then getting your score back up so you're able to continue applying for funding. That makes sense. You're welcome, Pagilona. Oh, how do you apply for the high limit cards? Okay, so I don't even know if I want to save this live after this. There's lenders that will give you high limit cards from Jump, right? If you have a minimum of a 720 and you don't have more than 2 inquiries, I'm gonna just drop a couple. There's Fidelity, and there's Citizens Bank. They both pull from, I think it's Equifax. So if your Equifax report is good, and you have at least a 720, you cannot have more than 2 inquiries, because these 2 lenders are gonna automatically deny you just on the inquiries. So if you want the high limit cards, hit those 2 lenders up. And then so a lot of these lenders, where you're applying for the cards, they're not going to ask for like income. They're not going to verify your income, right? So you can fluff your income a little bit. And then if they do ask for verification, then at that point, you're just going to give them whatever it is that you give them. And then they're going to approve you based on whatever your income is. So I would do that. Which trade lines are the best to get? For Gelona, it depends on what the goal is. Like if you're trying to add years to the account, then obviously you're going to get an older account, right? An older trade line. If you're just trying to add, If you're trying to add limit, like a high limit card on your account, then you're going to shoot for the high limit card. But then like what I do for my clients is like I hit them hard from both. So I try to get an older account and then a high limit card. So that way they get the age and the high limit on their credit report. I remove it if by disputing. Damn, Jay Turner. What was I talking about? Removing what? Student loans, maybe? Remind me, please. Fudgelona, I need a consultation with you. I have 0 inquiries on Equifax. All right, guys. So I charge $2.99 right now for a consultation. That's chump change for me. So, if you really must, then go ahead and sign up. Okay. Go Fudgelona, jump on my profile on my link tree, and then you can just book a consultation there. Jay Turner, I was talking about removing the high limit, the high balance accounts. Yes, you just dispute them. So you're basically going to dispute the accounts as tell the bureau. You're gonna tell the bureau that you don't want those accounts on there. I have this challenge going on. That's why I'm still up. I'm trying to put everything together for my people so they get the information that they need and they're able to be successful after we're done with this challenge. So that's why I'm just going over that stuff right now. But this week I'm gonna have a little bit more time and I'll post more laws in on my feed, my reels. That way you guys have them, and then just use those laws. Like the permissible purpose, that's one of the laws, and all these laws that I'm gonna put on there, you guys can get them from the FCRA. It's a real book. So once the government saw that they couldn't control the bureaus, not that they couldn't, but they just didn't want to because it's making them money too. So once they saw that the bureaus were out of control, they went ahead and they put the FCRA together. Now, guys, that's what we need to use in order to hold the bureaus accountable and have them only report the information that's accurate on our reports. So pull up the FCRA, start reading that. It's dry, but I mean, it opens doors for you. So yes, G Turner, you would basically dispute the accounts as not yours. One way I would go around that, they're gonna shut your accounts down for most likely. So one way I would go around that is I would either, and this is what I do, okay? So I would either get the address with the that credit card that you're trying to remove, get that address changed to a family member's address, and then have that updated and reporting to your credit bureau. And then once it's updated with the new address, you're gonna see it because you're gonna see that new address pop up on your credit report, right? So once that address pops up on your report, then send a dispute letter and say, hey, this account's not mine. And now what the bureaus, because 9 out of 10 times these effers are so lazy, all they do is they just try to link your address or any information they can that's in front of their face with that account. So once you tell them that account's not yours, they're not going to be able to match that new address because it's going to be, I don't know, like an address in which you've never used before, so it's not populated on your credit report. So they're going to see that new address on there. You're going to tell them like, hey, that address or that account doesn't belong to me, and they might remove it on that first round. That's what I would do for that. There's so many techniques, but that's one of them. Yay, Angela, you signed up for the 100K play. I'm excited. I get to meet you in September face to face. Fudgelona, thank you, because I need to fix a couple of more accounts. Yes, ma'am. You just answered a lot of my weak spots. I'm glad. G Turner J, awesome, thank you. Yes, you're welcome, my pleasure. There's ways to go around this stuff, guys, so just don't take no for an answer if you're disputing your own credit report. And I do encourage that, like, you take control of your report, because credit repair it costs a lot of money. So if you learn how to do it, you're able to do it yourself. It costs a lot of money, and then it takes a lot of patience. Obviously, for the people that are working a lot and they just don't want to do it, like for me, I would be willing to pay. But now that's my business, so I pay people to help me help people restore their financial freedom. If you guys don't have any questions, Fajilana, I was working for a company. No, girl, don't work for anybody. Don't let anybody put a price on your time. Don't let anybody put a price up or price tag on your time. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm gonna see, like when I can't sleep, I'll jump on a live, see who's up. Otherwise, I'll post the law information. You guys will see it on my reels or my posts here soon. Otherwise, good night, guys. And hopefully I helped you.